Alright, welcome. Breaking 13 News right this morning.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for 13 News Live this morning. I'm Sabria Reed. It's Father's Day, June 18th, 2023. Let's check in with First Alert Meteorologist Aaron Pickering for what we can expect to see outside on this Sunday. Good morning, Aaron.
Welcome
Thank you
back,
so much
Aaron
for joining
Pickering.
us again.
Again?
Day two.
Day two?
And we're expecting really nice weather for this Father's Day. A little warm, but not anything.
Yeah, for June, we expect the warm temperatures. Our average temperature of 102. Of course, we're going to see that wind come back in the afternoon, but if you get out and about right now,
Yep,
this
it's
is
perfect.
the perfect time.
Pickering's back.
Perfect.
Pickering.
Let's take a live look outside. You can
Getting
see
back
our
together.
personal camera, looking up toward
Pickering.
Kevin
It's gorgeous.
from Tumamook Hill, and if you're going out for a hike this morning, it is going to be absolutely gorgeous for you.
Yeah,
Now, if
Pickering's
you are
back.
going to be heading out
The
and
go,
about,
the go
keep
games
in mind,
back
we do
together.
have a couple of changes coming for the afternoon. Another windy afternoon setting up. A really typical June afternoon. So that means
game's back
plenty of water.
right,
It is very, very dry out there, and we're going to see that trend continue right on through the rest of the weekend. The heat goes on. We'll talk about the heat, but it's not going to be as hot as we've seen in some Junes around here in southern Arizona. We'll have that for you in the full First Alert forecast.
Okay. New this morning.
Thanks, Aaron. And new this morning, a Davis Monthan airman dies during a training exercise. U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Corey Wade was found dead at Roosevelt Lake yesterday after a multi-day search and rescue operation led by the Gila County Sheriff's Office. Details surrounding his death are still under investigation. Colonel Scott Mills, the 355th Wing Commander, makes this statement. He says, "We are saddened to confirm the death of Staff Sergeant Corey Wade, whose body was located following an exhaustive search at Roosevelt Lake. Sergeant Wade was a model airman and consummate professional while assigned to the 48th Rescue Squadron, and he will be deeply missed. Our thoughts are with the Sergeant Wade's family, friends, and teammates during this difficult time. Davis Monthan Air Force Base leaders are postured to provide comfort and assistance to our community as we navigate this tragedy together." Staff Sergeant Wade was reported missing at Roosevelt Lake on June 14th while conducting training in preparation for supporting jump operations.
Businesses around have been slow, the wineries have been slow, so it's definitely, it's taken its toll.
And this morning we continue to track the latest on the Oak Fire. The fire is burning north of Sonoyta right now. It's burned more than 3,200 acres and is about 60% contained. But it's not just the crews dealing with this blaze. Businesses are struggling this Father's Day weekend after the Oak Fire caused closures on Highway 83. 13 News reporter Emily Miranda spoke with some local businesses in the area about how that closure is impacting them.
Last night we were super slow. Our store was slow. We had a lot of cancellations at the end. Town was just really dead, and this morning it was super dead.
Bryce Wright, owner of the Stakeout, says not only has this fire impacted business, but it's also been a big inconvenience for many of their employees.
We have several employees that have to Tucson, have to go all the way to Benson or Nogales. It's taken an extra 30-45 minute drive for them to get down here.
Because of the road closure and the extra time it takes to go around, they are also struggling to keep their doors open.
We were definitely short-staffed last night, which it didn't matter as much as because we weren't busy, but yeah, we're short-staffed. Yeah, I mean, I'm in bartending, serving, so I'm all over tonight. But yeah, we're definitely short-staffed a little bit, and the fires were up. Actually close to some of our employees' houses as well.
Dina Plotz, owner of Corner Scoop right off Highway 83, says they did see an increase in people coming in yesterday as they waited for the news on the closure.
A lot of the workers out here that go to Tucson or live in Tucson came here, were waiting to see if they were going to open, so we were pretty busy.
But compared to last Saturday, businesses say this is not what they expected business to look like on Father's Day weekend.
It's slowed down because we don't have all the people coming up to the lakes, like Patagonia Lake or Carpatania Lake. We don't have that traffic today like we usually do in the mornings.
Plotz also says the closure has been an inconvenience when it comes to keeping the store running.
Well, I go to Tucson 3 times a week, and I haven't been able to go to get supplies for the store, so that's been a problem, and I'm not going the long way around, so it's been quite an issue.
Many were in agreement that the one thing keeping them open was the locals and firefighters.
We were really busy today because we were feeding the firefighters out here. They came in and got food for all of them, so we made their food this morning. And then we were just constantly busy all day with a lot of people that can't go into Tucson right now, so they're all out here just coming in for breakfast or lunch.
Highway 83 has since been reopened
That's good.
due to that fire. Now, right now, we're going to turn to a developing story. Tucson police are searching for a suspect involved in a shooting Friday afternoon. It happened in the parking lot on Park and Ajo. When officers got there, they found 30-year-old Jacob Stark shot. He died at a hospital. We're told police have a description of the suspect, but are still following up on leads. Anyone with information is asked to call 911 and 88 Crime. Also in Tucson, police have arrested 2 men in connection to a homicide that happened earlier this month. Police say Brendan Moristo and Ricardo Villegas are facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder by aggravated and aggravated robbery. Earlier this month, police say 2 people were shot near 15th Avenue and Grant Road. 28-year-old Turo Javier died from his injuries. We're told the other victim had non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators identified 3 suspects following the shooting, and police are still searching for a woman they believe to be involved. Anyone with information is asked to call 911 or 88 Crime. And this morning, sheriff's deputies are looking for the driver of this SUV involved in a deadly hit and run on the southwest side of Tucson. Investigators say a pedestrian was hit near Valencia and Mark Road on Thursday night. He's been identified as 29-year-old Kevin Bauman. We're told he died at the scene. Investigators say Bauman was walking in the middle of Valencia when witnesses saw the SUV hit him and drive off. The suspect's vehicle is described as an early 2000s GMC Yukon. It'll be missing a rear passenger side taillight and will have damage to a rear window and window trim. Anyone with information is asked to call 911 or 88 Crime. Also, we are learning that U.S. Customs and Border Protection made an unusual seizure. 224 pounds of swim bladders. That's coming from an endangered fish called the tahoba. Now, this fish is believed by Chinese to be or have treatment for fertility, circulation, and skin problems. Officers are working with the Nogales Port of Entry in Santa Cruz County. They discovered 270 swim bladders hidden inside of a commercial shipment of frozen fish fillets. Now, the swim bladders are valued at an estimated $2.7 million. And happening today, of course, it is Father's Day. PAC wants or has you covered if you're looking for a cat or kitty companion. The shelter will be having kittens ready to meet you this Father's Day at their Kitten Caravan event. Today, the Petco location on the corner of River and Craycroft. They will be there from 10 to 1 this afternoon, and the adoption for this is free. PAC says all kittens adopted will already be spayed or neutered, microchipped, and vaccinated.
Wow.
Looking for a kitten this Father's Day, Aaron?
They're great.
Well, I'm not looking for a kitten right now, but a free is a great way to pick up a companion if that's what you're looking for. We have some birds landing on the saguaro right now, and the saguaro getting ready to bloom its flowers as we get really hot here in the month of June. This is a live look this morning on this Sunday morning. Of course, we're seeing those temperatures start off in the 70s and 60s across most of southern Arizona. We had some pretty thick cloud cover yesterday. Most of that has moved on, but we do still have some clouds moving into the area, and those clouds are going to be with us much of the day today, but I don't think we're going to pick up any rain, at least anytime soon. 70 degrees right now, the current temperature at the 6 a.m. hour, 70 degrees also in Sierra Vista, 62 in Safford. We're going to see those temperatures jump up very quickly into the later part of the afternoon. So for this Father's Day, by 9 a.m., we're already talking about 90s and triple digits. By lunchtime, 102 degrees by 3 p.m. These hot temperatures will stick around. We'll have that for you in your 7-day forecast.
Those ties were a really good touch there. I like that, Aaron. All right, some holiday closures that we want to tell you about. All City of Tucson offices will be closed Monday in observation of Juneteenth. Trash and recycling collections will continue as well. Those will happen at the Los Realos landfill. That will stay open. In Sierra Vista, most city facilities will be closed there on Monday. That means trash pickup will shift to Tuesday, and Tuesday's trash collection will happen on Wednesday. There will be no special pickups available that day, but the Cove, Sierra Vista's Indoor Aquatic Center, will stay open with regular hours. And coming up, the president takes to the campaign trail for the first time ahead of the 2024 election. Plus, Dr. Fauci sends a warning to stay vigilant about new COVID variants. More on what he recommends when we come back from the break.
President Biden.
Welcome back. President Biden hit the campaign trail for his first major event since announcing his bid for re-election. A couple of GOP contenders were also making appearances this weekend. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette has a recap from Dallas.
President Biden was met with chants of support as he held his first 2024 campaign rally hosted by union members in Philadelphia.
We got a fight in our hands. And my question to you is simple. Are you with me in this fight?
Before his speech, the president took an aerial tour of the area of Interstate 95 that collapsed last weekend.
This goes in the ground, and it keeps flying. There you go.
And received a briefing on the repairs.
We're going to get it done in record time because it's so important to the economy, not only of Philly, but the entire Northeast corridor and every community. Well, hello, Nevada!
GOP presidential contender Ron DeSantis was the headliner at the 8th annual Bass Cry in Douglas County, one of the bigger political events in Nevada.
Shut the border down. We will actually build a border wall. We will hold Mexico accountable, and we will hold the drug cartels accountable for the carnage that they're causing.
It's a message that resonates with supporters.
He has Trump right here, but there's no baggage. He's a fresh face, young guy.
The Republican at the top of polls, former President Donald
Trump.
Trump, has laid low since
Yeah.
Tuesday night when he appeared before supporters at his New Jersey golf club after pleading not guilty to 37 federal charges as part of the classified documents case. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
And in health news, Dr. Anthony Fauci has a warning for us that while COVID cases are way down, a new variant could quickly change that. Dr. Fauci spoke Saturday at a university in Italy. He said the world needs to remain vigilant to control and manage COVID so it doesn't quickly mutate into variants that our current treatments and immunities cannot control. Fauci said the likelihood of that happening is not known, but also not impossible. He said he agrees with the World Health Organization's assessment that the virus is no longer a global health emergency, but said it will take diligence for it to stay that way. He also said the large amount of misinformation about COVID and its treatments was tragic because it resulted in hundreds of thousands of people, or perhaps millions, refusing to be vaccinated. Let's switch gears now. Our first alert meteorologist, Aaron Pickering, joins us again. Aaron, we were talking earlier about how, yes, we're going to see triple digits, but it's a lot cooler this June than what we've seen in previous years.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to believe when you sit in your car and you burn your hand.
Yes.
June. Yeah, but that's really what we're seeing. You know, when we're talking about average temperatures this time of year, pushing all the way up into the 102 range, that means some days are normally above average and some days are below. That's the definition. But I want to show you a cool graphic that we put together for the month of June. The high temperatures, anything that you see in blue, that's below average, and that's what we've been seeing for the entire month. Red would show up on this calendar if we had any above average temperatures, and we haven't had that so far. So even though it's been hot out there, I guess we could say it could be worse. All right, let's take a look at what's going on out there for the day today. The temperature's starting off at 70 degrees, so that's actually not too bad in this mid-June. But the dew point, which measures how much moisture is in the air, is bone dry, only 26 degrees. When you look at the dew points all across southern Arizona, we're seeing very dry conditions across Cochise, Santa Cruz County as well. Only 22-degree dew points in Douglas, 26 in Nogales. Now, we've seen those dew points come up a little bit, but we need these to be closer to the 50-degree range before we can start talking about afternoon thunderstorms. Our satellite and radar pictures showing mostly clear skies across Arizona. And as we zoom out, there's actually something a bit unusual for the month of June. A storm system, once again, diving into the Pacific Northwest, bringing in some rain across parts of Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. This is good news and bad news. Good news in
Yeah.
the sense that it's going to help to keep us cooler.
Yeah.
But bad news because it doesn't allow our monsoon high to set
Yeah.
up the way we want it to this time of year,
okay.
to start bringing in that moisture
Yes.
from our south. Let's take a look at the setup right now. We have an
Yes.
area of low pressure diving into the Pacific
Monsoon.
Northwest. We already kind of talked about it
Nice.
as being a bad news situation for
Yes.
us. But the monsoon high is going to continue to work its way into parts of Mexico. And as
Yes.
those two areas of pressure get
Yes.
close to each other, we're going to see the wind pick up, and that is going to keep us dry and windy,
Yes.
keeping that wind out of the south and southwest over the next couple of days. So we'll
Yes.
see windy, maybe even dusty conditions as we get into Monday, with the wind really kicking up Monday afternoon. That does keep our temperatures a little bit below average,
Yes.
with those low 100s sticking around, and the first
Was it
official day
in
of summer
summer?
on Wednesday.
Day.
We're going to
Ah,
bring it in with
yeah.
temperatures right around
That's
average
great.
Wednesday through the end of the week.
week. Take care, Big Green.
If Dad loves cocktails and loves to entertain, he may want a robot bartender. I'm Jamie Tucker coming up. We're going to take a look at the Bartesian and show you how it works.
What's the tech?
Thanks for sticking with
Okay.
us. Cocktail and dinner parties of the 60s and 70s are making a comeback as small groups of friends are getting together for dinner and drinks in someone's home. But some people having private events now don't have bartenders, and those cocktails can be difficult for some non-bartenders to master. As 13 News consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker shows us, a cocktail machine could be the next best thing.
Like cocktails, but hate mixing them. The original Bartesian cocktail maker is pretty big, with 4 bottles for alcohol. A lot of people don't have the countertop space for a full Bartesian, so this is the Bartesian Duet, roughly half the size, half the bottles, but still a robot bartender. Here's how they work. Add your favorite alcohol to the included bottles and place them in their respective positions on the Bartesian. Next, add one of these capsules or pods that contain the ingredients, the simple syrups, bitters, fruit juice that go in the cocktails. You can purchase pods for old fashions, Cosmos, whiskey sours, margaritas, and a wide variety. Here's where the tech comes in. Each capsule has a barcode. When a pod is inserted, the Bartesian cocktail machine reads that barcode and draws alcohol from the correct bottle. Unlike similar cocktail makers, you have the option to add your favorite brand of spirits. Maybe you prefer Patron to Jose Cuervo. That's up to you. With just 2 bottles, you may want to purchase a couple of extras so you're not constantly emptying and pouring if you like cocktails from different liquors.
Yeah.
Select the strength, light, regular, strong, or a mocktail. Press the button, and in 5 seconds, you'll have a perfectly blended cocktail, much like you'll get at a cocktail bar. In my taste test, friends say they're just as good as you get in some chain restaurant bars, if not better. Now, there is a similar device, but there's one big difference. The Bartesian capsules contain no alcohol. You can buy these online. You can't get the other ones. You have to go to the liquor store. That's what the tech. Jamie Tucker,
Good
13 News.
news.
The Bartesian cocktail machine gets excellent reviews on both Amazon and other online retailers. The Duet, with the smaller countertop footprint, is $300. Are you weren't into the cats? Maybe you're into the Bartesian.
Good, yeah. Are you, Big Green?
Option, but I just have to wonder, like, how much you would actually use it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe me, not so much. But heading out the door this morning
I'm
from
sure.
Mount Bigelow, looking outside, we do see a little bit of haze in the air. That's because of the smoke from the fire that's burning on the Oak Fire just north of Sonoyta. So please keep in mind that there is going to be a little bit of smoke in the air. Most of that is going to be blowing into Cochise County thanks to those winds in the later part of the afternoon. If you are going to be smelling any of that smoke, make sure you shut your windows and turn on your air conditioner. That will help to filter out some of that air. If you're going for a morning run, we'll make it all the way up to 93 degrees by 10 a.m. We're going to see the clouds return, but we're going to have that wind return as well. We're going to break down the wind hour by hour for you in your full First Alert forecast.
Yes. Coming up.
All right, Aaron, thank you. And when we come back, a look at the effort made by fire crews to contain the Oak Fire. And 13 News anchor Andrew Capasso follows former President Donald Trump's criminal case and how it can impact you. Stick with us for more on Sunday Spotlight.
Right. Is that right?
Celebrating 70
Yeah,
years
the third dirty 13. Right, local radio breaking.
You're watching
13 News Live this morning.
Welcome back to 13 News Live this morning. I'm Sabria Reed. Before we take a deep dive into this week's Sunday Spotlight, let's take another look at our weather outside and updates from the Oak Fire that's still burning. First, our meteorologist Aaron Pickering joining us again this morning. Now, we were talking a little bit that, yes, that fire is burning, but there is no red flag warning in place.
Yeah, that's right. The red flag warning has been allowed to expire. Now, we are going to still see dangerous conditions out there. Low humidities, high temperatures, and strong wind in the afternoon. So it could mean for explosive fire growth later on this afternoon as well, even though we don't have an official warning out there. Let's take a look outside right now with our live camera from the Tucson Mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous starting off on this June 18th, Father's Day. Let's take a look at what it's going to be like out on the links. If you're going to take Dad out to maybe hit the golf balls, temperatures are going to warm up fast. You might want to get out for those early tee times if you can get them. 86 degrees by 9 o'clock, 98 already by noon, and we'll be all the way up to 102 degrees. Now, we will start to see some clouds stream in, and those clouds are going to help to kind of keep us from getting too hot, although 102 is still very warm, and then cooling things off into the mid-90s by the later part of the afternoon and evening. We're going to talk about the wind here coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Aaron. And we're still continuing to follow that Oak Fire burning near Sonata. Highway 83 is now back open with the fire at least 60% contained there. 13 News reporter Andres Rendon shows us the massive fire and those strong winds that brought in at least 7 different agencies.
The Sonoyta Elgin Fire District were the first to receive calls of the fire and to arrive, but after seeing the initial signs of the blaze, Chief Mark Meredith requested more resources.
Quickly realized it was a large fire, and so we started calling for additional resources. We were pretty sure it was on National Forest Service land, on Coronado National Forest. So that was my second call, was to Tucson Dispatch to let them know we had a fast-moving fire in their jurisdiction.
Several agencies are working together to get the fire under control. Today, one of the district's brush trucks is in a division assisting to get the fire out. And despite windy conditions, the district has one of the Forest Service helicopters on standby. Wildfires through this area, however, are nothing new. Residents in the Sonoyta, Elgin, and Patagonia region have experienced the flames but are sure to be prepared. One Elgin resident moved here 2 years ago from California after a wildfire sparked there. She says she knows exactly what to do and how to stay safe.
Well, we live in a grasslands area where we have pasture land all around us. And so our 5 acres, my husband is very careful to keep mowed.
One resource people can use is FireWise. The national program trains firefighters to assess homes and property for any fire risks. Firefighters then help to remove those risks to defend the property from a blaze.
We have a lot of community members who have taken advantage of that, and that makes our job a lot easier.
The program is free of charge, and both the chief and locals highly encourage property owners to use the resource.
You never know when a fire is going to break out.
That was Andres Rendon reporting there. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. We will keep you updated both on air and online with the latest developments.
Well, yesterday you probably noticed the wind kicking up in the later part of the afternoon. We're going to see that once again today, but this morning, if you're stepping out, this is the perfect time to get out for a morning hike or take the dog for a walk. Beautiful conditions out there, but it is going to be dry. Dew point measures how much moisture is in the atmosphere. We need those dew points around 50 or higher to get thunderstorms going. Over the next several days, we're going to see those dew points actually take a dip. We're going to dry things out Friday and Saturday, but that's not going to stop the wind. We're going to see average wind gusts today around 20 miles per hour. On Monday, almost 25 miles per hour, and then we're going to start to see those wind speeds drop off a little bit. But it is going to be a breezy week overall, and that's going to keep our temperatures from getting too hot. We're going to make all the way up to 101 today, but we'll see those 100 sticking around in your 7-day forecast. We're also going to break down the wind for you today, hour by hour, coming up in just a bit.
Okay, so far, so good.
Alrighty, and new this morning, time for this week's Sunday Spotlight. 13 News anchor Andrew Capasso takes a deeper dive into the big criminal case with implications ranging from Tucson to D.C. and across the country.
in Spotlight.
This morning in the Sunday Spotlight, the Arizona impact of the historic federal criminal case against President Donald Trump. This state, a big one when deciding who becomes the next president. That includes, of course, in 2020, when a Democrat won this state for the first time in years. But now, with 2024 a year and a half away, what are the implications of this case as that race takes center stage? Speak exclusively this morning with Dr. Lisa Sanchez with the U of A School of Government and Public Policy. She tells me Arizona is not the solid Republican state it's been in the past. Nope. That is part of the reason why she says there is a lot to watch here, not just in this unprecedented federal case against a former president, but also politically from both sides of the aisle, from Phoenix to Tucson and beyond. And as this gets through the court system and eventually potentially a trial, how closely do you think voters in this state are going to be paying attention to what's happening?
Well, I mean, I think I have yet to see anybody who hasn't been willing to render a pretty quick judgment on this issue. So I think it's going to play a fairly large role. I think people are very likely to be kind of responding to partisan cues in this, though. So it's not necessarily about it just being political. I think it's overtly partisan, and I think that's a little bit different. So it depends on where you stand on the political spectrum, how you're interpreting this, right? So I think in Arizona, we've been a swing state in the last couple of electoral cycles. We've been sort of leaning red, but not afraid to turn blue in certain cases. So I think it's going to be big.
Let's talk about the politics and the partisanship of this. There's a new poll out that shows 47% of people in this poll think this is politically driven. So when you're looking at this with politics in mind and the presidential election around the corner, how big of a job do you think both sides have here trying to prove their point here? We've got the special prosecutor says this is the law, and then the other say it's politics.
Yeah, so this is going to be a really, really tough one for either side to win. I don't think there's any way that anyone wins. When you have a executive of this, this height, of a former president who is involved with some sort of legal doings, it's gonna be a really big deal. And that means that it's gonna divide people. So if you're a Democrat, pretty solidly you believe the law is the law, and there shouldn't be anybody who's above it. And if you're a Republican, you're sort of seeing this through the lens of, hey, there have been other high-ranking individuals, Clinton, Biden himself, Joe Biden himself, Mike Pence, who have had some of these documents who, were improperly handled. Why didn't they get indicted? So you really see the battle lines pretty clearly drawn. And I don't think there's any way to take out politics from this, because where you stand politically really shapes the lens that you see this whole drama unfold under.
So let's talk about this reaction from the politicians. We're hearing now this morning from Southern Arizona's GOP Representative Juan Ciscomani. Before this indictment was unsealed, he said, quote, "As Americans, we have the right to be innocent until proven guilty. But in order to do so fairly, we need an impartial justice system, not a politicized one." End quote. At the same time, other top Republicans really dismissing the whole thing. We heard House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago has locks. We heard from the leader Steve Scalise as well, saying one picture just shows personal things, nothing confidential. So you're seeing that from the Republican side. What's your reaction?
I think it's the natural reaction because it's their guy, right? Yeah. If this was on the other side, they would have a very similar reaction, and they did, right? When it was Hillary Clinton with the sort of server debacle that happened several years ago. The thing about this that strikes me is not necessarily that it's Republicans or Democrats who's on, a particular side. What strikes me is that we can only stand to sort of lose from this, right, as Americans. So however this shakes out, somebody is going to be upset about the outcome. One side is going to be upset. And that means that they may lose faith in the American system. And that's what's scary, right? And it doesn't matter if it's a deer in R who loses faith. It's scary. It's unsettling for the U.S. And I think that's really the showstopper in this. Not necessarily whether it's overtly political or not overtly political. It's going to be viewed that way, and therefore we're going to have some friction between our partisans.
So this is serious, as you said, regardless of party. It is a big deal. Serious charges against a former president of the United States and the GOP frontrunner in the race for 2024. So given what's on the line here, what is your message to people in Southern Arizona who are not paying attention to this?
I mean, I think if you're not paying attention, I think you probably should give it a look. But should it be the only thing that is sort of, invigorating your political activity? Probably not, right? It's important, it's historic. I don't want to give you the idea that it's not. But I do think that there are other things that probably should play maybe more heavily into a vote choice, for instance.
And Dr. Sanchez also says, since this is so well in advance of the election, this may not be the single biggest factor for you when you go to the polls. What with cases tending to move slowly, especially this one, there are a lot of questions about when decisions will be handed down and how the GOP frontrunner balances campaigning with potential court dates moving forward. That is it for this week's Sunday Spotlight. We'll meet again here next week as we take a look at another issue impacting Southern Arizona. 13 News this morning. Back after this quick break.
Now, it's time for the
13 News Sports Desk.
Sponsored by Desert
Diamond
Diamond Sportsbook,
Sportsbook.
Arizona's best bet.
Throwing is such a beautiful sport that I think I'd be doing a disservice to the sport by just continually kind of half in and half out.
Welcome back. Last summer, Turner Washington got this butterfly tattoo on his right arm. He loved it because of the symbolism. It's the idea of metamorphosis, the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, starting as one thing and then becoming something new. Which is an interesting point, because last summer Turner explained his decision to retire from the sport of throwing, the sport he'd won state championships in for Canyon del Oro and the national championship in for ASU. It was a sport that largely defined him, which was part of the reason he decided to step away. But then, something happened. Turner changed his mind, and in doing so, he changed his life.
Years past, I was so focused on the end of the tunnel. That's what I learned this year, is how to enjoy so much more besides just PRs and records and wins.
12 months ago, ASU Sun Devil Turner Washington, then a four-time NCAA champion, had convinced himself he was done with throwing.
Throwing was always kind of like this vessel that helped me deal with just challenging times. Then what became a tool of self-help became a weapon, to where it wasn't fun, and it was making me just think just not good thoughts about anything in general, just a terrible outlook on life.
So in the summer of 2022, Turner quit, allowed himself some downtime, even took a trip to Mexico, the first kind of vacation he'd had since his junior year at Canyon del Oro High School. And it was there he made a discovery.
To have that entire break and then kind of just process just life and explore what it is that I actually wanted to do and who it is that I want to be, most importantly, I found that kind of hey, I can still throw.
Turner returned to ASU as a grad student with a new objective. Instead of focusing on performance, he'd focus on being present.
It was just a whole completely different experience where I enjoyed the bus ride. I enjoyed getting to know other teammates, to where years in the past it's just I'm throwing, I'm out, not enjoying the experience.
Part of it was the fact that Turner's life no longer completely revolved around throwing. He also had school, a girlfriend, and an internship with the Arizona Coyotes.
And I think it was just this wake-up call of now you're honestly becoming an adult. You gotta be more than just a thrower. You gotta make a living. You gotta be a partner. You have other things that you need to get done.
Sure.
But he was still a competitor, and the fire burned. In late March at the Texas Relays in Austin, Turner threw 64 meters in discus, good enough to win the event. And yet...
Okay, that went 64 meters and it wasn't that good.
2.5 months later, Turner returned to Austin for the Outdoor National Championships. He finished second in shot put behind Arizona's Jordan Geist. Turner had one more event left, the discus. But leading up to the final throw of his collegiate career, Turner found himself again in second.
There's a joke of there's knock who's there, second place who. I still have this opportunity and potential to hit a big one. It wasn't, I need to go harder, I need to put more effort into it. It's just kind of like, I need to execute better.
66.22 meters, good enough to win by 2 feet. It was Turner's second outdoor discus national title, his 5th overall.
Be able to come out and win that championship, where I'll always say 2023 national champion Turner Washington. And that's something you can never take from me.
12 months ago, Turner Washington was a man in search of something else. 12 months later, he'd found happiness.
It's not just the winning on the last throw, but it's just knowing what all went into and how many of the periods of doubt where I'm like, I don't think I can do it, all the self-doubt, to where it's like you stuck it through and you did it, and here's the reward.
Aaron, you gotta love a good, happy ending. There's nothing wrong with finding happiness, especially when you have a view like that behind you.
Yeah,
That's true.
right. And in fact, if you're heading out the door this morning, there's not much to complain about. It is nice and cool, at least for now. An hour. And it is beautiful conditions out there. Let's take a live look outside from our camera on Mount Bigelow. It is absolutely gorgeous out there, and as we look across the Tucson Valley, you might see a little bit of haze in the distance. That's the smoke from the oak fire that's kind of moving in. Now, as the day wears on and the temperatures heat up, we'll actually see that smoke kind of get pushed out and mostly move out to the east. So we're going to see our skies clear up in the city of Tucson. Now, as you wake up and head out the door, temperatures mostly sitting in the 70s and 60s at this hour. 70 degrees in Tucson and Green Valley. Sierra Vista sitting at 70 as well. 77 for you in Marana, 62 in Nogales, and 65 in Benson. And across the country, when we take a look around everywhere that we can find, we're mostly sitting in the 70s and 60s. It's pretty mild in many spots, but look at the Northwest, only 49 degrees in Seattle, even though summer is expected to start just in the next few days. We do have some storms in the Northwest moving through parts of Montana and Wyoming. These storms are bringing with them some heavy rain and even some snow into parts of the Cascades. But then out to the east, we're looking at fairly heavy storms working their way through parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. This is going to be an area where we're going to see some heavy thunderstorms in the later part of the afternoon. A closer look to the west, we do have that storm that's kind of diving into the northwest. That's going to help bring us some wind, and that wind is going to get fairly strong in the afternoon. We will see some high clouds as well, but I don't expect much in the way of rain. All right, so let's take a look. If you're going out for a hike today, it is going to warm up fast. We will see those clouds. Again, no rain, but temperatures driving all the way up to 102 degrees and windy conditions. Let's take a look at that wind as we put this into motion. We'll see that wind develop and really start getting going around 11 o'clock in the morning. 19-mile-per-hour winds in Tucson, 23-mile-per-hour winds in Green Valley. That's at 11 o'clock. And as we put this into motion and go past 11 and go to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, look at this, nearly 30-mile-per-hour winds in Tucson. It is going to be stronger today than what we saw yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised to see blowing dust out there as well, especially along Interstate 10 as you head out toward the Wilcox Playa. We'll see 27 miles per hour in Wilcox, and those winds getting even stronger by 5 o'clock. So most of the afternoon, we'll see those strong, gusty winds out there. That's going to keep our temperatures down, but we will see windy conditions sticking around all the way through Monday, turning into breezy conditions on Tuesday, and then finally falling off as we get into the middle of the week. By Thursday, temperatures rising back to 104 degrees, but warm afternoons, breezy for the next few days. That's really going to be the theme. 13 news will continue right after this
break. Right this morning.
Alrighty, just in time for Father's Day, one of the Kardashian sisters has made a big announcement. Kourtney Kardashian says she's pregnant. She told fans at a Blink-182 concert the father is the band's drummer, Travis Barker. They recently just got married. She posted a video on her social media showing her in the audience holding up a sign that says, quote, "Travis, I'm pregnant." He responded by jumping off the stage and kissing her while the audience cheered. Now, this is not their first time being parents. They both have children from previous relationships. Not a bad way to start Father's Day. I think that's a good announcement. Here's another cool thing happening. The self-titled demo tape that late musician Prince used to land his first recording contract is up for auction. Boston-based auction house RR Auction is selling the demo, which was recorded in 1976. It contains unreleased versions of the songs Just As Long As We're Together and My Love Is Forever, as well as never released Jelly Jam. Prince was just 18 years old when he recorded the tracks, all written, sung, and arranged by him. The demo is part of the Marvels of Modern Music auction that ends on Thursday. Aaron, what do you think this will go to auction for?
Oh man, I have no idea. All I know is I wouldn't want to put it in a tape player.
Me either.
And have it get screwed up.
Yeah.
After you buy it.
Yeah.
I just spent how much?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work.
Yeah. Hey, if you're going to be heading out and about today on this Father's Day, 102 degrees, breezy conditions. We're going to keep those winds around all the way through the middle of the week, and temperatures in the triple digits all the way through that 7 days.
Not too bad for
Not too
Father's Day.
bad,
Hope
yeah.
everyone enjoys their day, enjoy their dad, show love. We'll see you next time.
Next time, bye and for green. Bye, guys. So that's a wrap for it. That's gonna do for us here at 30 News and Wowzers World TV here. Thanks so much for watching 30 News this morning at 6 a.m. on this Father's Day here. And make sure to subscribe to Wowzers World TV on YouTube here. And the subscribe button here, hit the notification bell on here, hit the share button here, and hit the notification bell on here, hit the money bell on here, and hit the connection down below when I see about this video here, and give me 50 likes on this video here, all my videos here, and I'll see you guys next time on this live stream here, and every Father's Day to everyone here on this Sunday here, and I'll see you guys later on. God bless, and I'll see you guys later on. Bye guys, and God bless.